What do you stand for, man? I decided to stop letting myself down and stop betraying what I actually truly believed and decided to start acting in accordance to what I believed and to stand for what I believe in, to represent what I believe in. So today mainly we're going to be talking about first thing we're going to touch on is work ethic, and then we're going to zoom in on that ethic part. And we're going to begin by defining those terms. Then we're going to dive into it, and hopefully there's going to be something we'll excavate out of that you'll find useful as well. And so work can be defined as activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. That's work. Activity involving mental or physical effort done to achieve a particular purpose or result. All right. Ethic. In Greek, ethic is the science of morals. And so work is mental or physical effort done to achieve a certain thing, and ethic is the science of your morals. Let's define morals. Standards of behavior concerning what is and is not acceptable for them to do. And so your work ethic would be your standards of behavior on what is and is not acceptable for you to do in regard to work. So it's what bar am I setting for myself? What do I believe in? What do I believe is or is not acceptable for me to do in regard to how I apply myself? And that's why I talk about letting myself down. And that's why I talk about just the idea of letting yourself down in terms of you may believe a certain way, but don't let your actions let you down. It feeds right into the next statement, which is there are those of you who think they're going to make and do something big, but your value system says you believe in sleep more than you believe in grinding. Your value system says you are a consumer and not a producer. Need you to understand that at the end of the day, we vote with our calendar and with our bank accounts what it is that we actually care about. And so if you're spending your time doing a certain thing and you are spending your money towards certain things, then that's what you believe in. That's where your ethic is going towards. That's the standard of what is and is not acceptable. Which also feeds into the idea that I touched on earlier, which is what they deem acceptable, I deem intolerable. That's talking about standards, right? And so, specifically when it comes to work now, when it comes to the activity that needs to be done to achieve a certain thing, some people may have a certain standard and they deem that standard acceptable. Well, if you want to be able to do things on a whole nother level and touch lives and make this massive thing, then what they deem acceptable, you're going to have to deem intolerable. You're going to have to deem yourself unable to tolerate a certain standard of behavior when it comes to doing your work. It's going to have to become intolerable to you. Do you understand what that means? Intolerable. It means you are so uncomfortable in that situation that you can't bear to be in it. And that's how winners feel about losing. I'm forgetting the basketball player's name now, but Eric Thomas tells a story, uh, and he always mentions this. Like when he's telling the story, he mentions this basketball player who was in an interview, and I went to watch that interview, and he's talking about, hey, listen, I suit up, rain, sunshine, I'm feeling 100%, 30%. It don't matter. Those are numbers, It's my heart. You can't measure heart. You can't measure effort. Effort is between you and you. And so he goes out there and he gives all the effort all the time. And personally, he's performing really well. His team's not doing well at the time. And the interviewer asks him, "What motivates you? what is it that causes this level of hunger? And he said, I'm losing. I'm losing. I'm losing. Tears come to his eyes. Tells the cameraman, shut the cameras off. Like that, that I relate to that. That's real to me. You know, being in that situation where you know you stand for excellence. You know you are a winner, but right now you're losing. You know, and it's realizing and being honest with oneself when you are losing. It's being honest with oneself and realizing that at the end of the day, it is about the results. The effort matters, yes, 100,000%. And we always want to be we always want to be operating to the outer limits of our potential. Um, but there is a threshold that is what is required, and we always want to do what is required and beyond. We never want to come short of that limit. And that's the thing about winning, right? Is it's not loyal to you. It doesn't care whether you're healthy, you're tired, you're this, you're that. It demands everything and promises you nothing in return. And so, as a winner, when you've given everything and you still lose, when you're the type of person who believes themselves to be excellent and you've applied that standard of what is required, you're doing what you believe is required, and more than that, you've fully immersed yourself in doing this thing and achieving this thing, and you lose. That's really an intolerable situation to be in for a winner. Losers always talk about how they hate to lose. Winners will show up and stay late every single day for as long as it takes until they are winning. Losers talk about how they hate to lose. Winners do what it takes, whatever that may mean. They do what is required. Highlight, they will show up and stay late every single day for as long as it takes. In terms of my beliefs now, my ethic when it comes to work, I believe in preparation. I'm a very, very big believer in preparation. And that is because, again, it's about my ethic, what my belief was in the past, right? Which is, I've been a person of talent. I've been a person of many talents all throughout my life. But I constantly within the schooling system specifically, and within that you can say I had my reasons, this and that, but that doesn't change what ultimately happened, right? What I was happening for me internally and what I was thinking and this and that doesn't change what ultimately was the result, right? And the result was, yeah, sure, I did all right in school, but it was very lackluster compared to what I could have done and compared to what I'm capable of. And I've shown that through what I've been able to achieve through my physique, what I've been able to achieve in sporting, right? What I'm hoping to achieve in business, what I'm going to achieve in business, and through social media. All of that is proof of the true moral ethic. And the truth is, once I had not given my all in those situations and then come out at the end of it, and then there's this result attached to your name, that's not a true reflection of who you are, what you're capable of, and what you stand for, most importantly. And so I decided to stop letting myself down. I decided that I am going to be the type of person who is committed, and the real commitment that says I'm going to stay true to what I said I would do long after the mood that I had set it in has left. That's real commitment. Everybody can say that they're going to create when they're in a creative mood. Anybody can say they're going to read when they're in the mood for reading. They're bored, maybe the electricity is gone, whatever the case is. Everybody can say, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna change my body. But the real commitment is I'm going to stay true to what I said I would do long after the mood that I'd said it is left. Inky Johnson first said that. I think I was about 15, 16 when I'd first heard that. And there are a lot of things that I've heard all throughout my life, thanks to the fitness journey. I'd say that led me into beginning to start listening to, hearing motivation and this and that. And so that right there, from about 16 to I'd say 16 to 20, I'd say that 4 years, there's a lot that happened within that, but that 4 years right there is when I truly came into my own and started to apply slowly but surely what it is that I believed about myself. Is when I stopped letting myself down. And that's actually the most important part of anything that I'm going to say today. It's not what do you stand for to other people. I mean, that's cool, it's nice and all. Yeah. But I believe that it's more important to protect your own trinity, your own unison between your thought, action, and speech. To just align everything that is you and that is the expression of you unto this world. And so, cognitive dissonance is the losers who always talk about how they hate to lose, but then that's all they do is talk about it. And the truest expression of us in this worldly form is action, is what you do. What will separate those who truly believe in something, who truly stand for something, and those who don't, is what you do. I mentioned this in yesterday's video, or that was Wednesday. I mentioned in the Wednesday's video that the only difference between a coward and a hero is what they do. Internally, they may have the same level of fear, but because the coward acts in a cowardly way and the hero acts in a heroic way, that's what gives them the titles. It's what they do. That's the final and truest representation of who they are at the end of the day. So, in order to stay completely consistent with that belief, I've had to do things, make certain sacrifices, and begin to act in a certain way. Um, I'll tell you where my belief in preparation stemmed from. I was always the best and brightest when it came to English specifically, but I've always been generally good at languages. I never really applied myself uh, in, and in school in general. But I took a liking to English because I've always, like, since a little bitty boy, since my younger years, and this is as far back as like creche. I was the first to read in my class. I've just always had an affinity towards just languages in general. I picked up English quite quickly, while Xhosa was my first and only language for the first 4 years of my life. I picked up English quite quickly from five to let's say 5 to about 6. So that's why it was impressive that I was the first to read, because I literally just learned this language. You know what I'm saying? And ik kan Afrikaans praat, net soos Afrikaans mens. En remedio sur français. I can't really speak French. Hablo español. Like any language I speak, I kind of like to like learn it and dig into it and have that twang to it, whatever the case is. So, but going back to the point is I've always, like I said, I've been a man of many gifts all throughout my life, and that includes the gifts linguistically. It's not just linguistically. I know language guys are usually terrible at math, but I was the best in my class at math in grade 9. Uh, and I've always been good at, like, geometry, this, then the third. Uh, here's my belief, my ethic that stemmed from that entire experience, and I'll tie it to this one, and then I'll expand it. Right, the one experience is I had the best essay, and that very essay actually ended up being moderated nationally and ended up boosting the marks of my entire, like, grade, like that entire matric, the entire year's matric. It boosted the English level by a couple percent because for whatever reason. It was just so good. But what I'm trying to say is it ended up being that. In class, I didn't get graded that well for that essay. And the reason why is because I hadn't prepared. I had literally written that thing that morning. I'd written it that morning, and then I basically read it to the class, and I wasn't truly prepared, couldn't really express myself because I was kind of, I had this thing where it's just sheer brilliance and perspective and this and that, but in terms of my delivery, there was no real, they know who I am as a person, they being like the teachers, the people who marked the thing initially, know who I am as a person and how bubbly I can be, this, that, and the third. And they saw that my personality didn't really come through because I was reading basically more so than I was performing or whatever the case is. And there are people who had way worse essays than me who ended up getting higher marks because they were more prepared. They had Excel sheets and this, that, and the third. And the mark difference wasn't actually that much in terms of, we actually had quite similar marks for someone who had written it that morning compared to, but they still got a higher grade than I did, even though I knew that I had the best essay in terms of the substance. I had the best substance. And you know, so what that led me to believing is, wow, you know what, people less talented than you can beat you if you don't prepare. You get what I'm trying to say? Because I'm literally the best in this subject, and you get what I'm trying to say? Like I was probably one of the best in the country at that with no preparation, and I still was beaten initially because I didn't prepare. And so now that happened, I'm already in matric, so I've already made a lot of doubtable decisions. But from then, it sort of was the seed to something with which is the ethic again, the belief, you know, that I strive to stand for now. That is, don't let yourself down. I want to stand for not letting yourself down. I want to stand for living up to your full potential because you deserve it. Because you deserve to know what you could do. And I always had this thing when I was younger of, man, if everyone knows that I could do it, if everyone believes that I can achieve it, then what's the point of even doing it? You know? So I've always been someone who kind of believed a lot about themselves and set that high bar, but my actions were not in line with that. My actions were not in line with believing that I'm someone incredible. My actions were in line with believing that I don't know, maybe too good to work hard, or I don't know. I was a dumb kid. But the point with that is, and the major overarching point or lesson in my life, the life lesson that I took from that is to work hard. And by work hard, I don't mean do aimless things like we talked last video about leverage, right? About choosing the best vehicle and then within that vehicle applying large amounts of volume. From that volume, you start, right? You have to work hard first and you have to work a lot in order to figure out what is actually good and then do more of what is working, less of what isn't working, and that's how you iterate and that's how you improve. You know, I start it. It stopped being enough that I was the best. It stopped being enough. And I don't get me wrong, I wasn't the best at everything, but I was always someone who just naturally kind of climbed to things and boom, boom, boom. You know, I was never like a slow learner. You know, but there were instances where people who were slower learners than me got ahead of me, and again, it just was one big lesson about preparation, about the application of self. You know, that it is through preparation that you can truly, I talk about expanding your capacity, because there was a place where I was, but in order to be able to not only hit that, but also to break through it and to even double the output, to quadruple the output, probably 20x minimum. You're not even 20x. I'm probably 100x more efficient, more aligned, more focused, more ruthless when it comes to my time, more like I'm just better than I was before. And it's because I decided what I wanted to stand for, and I decided that I didn't want to let myself down. And so again, the threshold for being someone who builds something big is your actions aligning with your thoughts and your speech. And so don't say you want to do big things and then sleep more than you work. Uh, don't say you want to make something big and most of your time is spent on empty consumption. I'm not anti consuming content, for example, because I literally I was for like 3 hours earlier this morning. I was watching a Tony Robbins webinar that he's doing for free. He does it once a year, and that's something where it just energizes you. It just changes your whole perspective, and perspective drives performance. It can just energize you and change the way that you view the day, that you view your life even. For a measly 3 hours you could change your life. That's why, again, books are so impactful for me, because it's like I could change it all in one page. It's yeah, yeah, I think I should should maybe apply it that way, because what came into my head is it applies to dating as well, and I didn't think of it, like, it just came to me. It wasn't the example that I was going to make, but that's just what came, which is it applies to dating as well, in the sense that all those dates that end up going bust, that you will never see again, are worth it when you find your wife. All the businesses that are not going to work out are worth it when you find the one that does. All those driving lessons that you took and you did well, and then you went to the driver's test and it didn't work out, all of those are worth it when you do pass the driver's test. And you finally get your driver's license, because you can never go back. That's the thing. You will never go backwards. If you keep learning and you keep improving, you will constantly progress. If as you've gone through these goals, whatever, boom, you find that's it. You found your wife. You go, you find that, boom, that's it. You found that business, and that's it. No one cares how long it took. No one cares. Like, no one cares. People only care what you have and what you're capable of. And so, for example, when you find her, she only cares that you found her. She doesn't care where you've been, what you've done. She only cares that you found her. When you have made the business, the marketplace is not gonna go digging and ask, but what happened to your first and your second and your third and your fourth? What happened to your other businesses? Yeah, they didn't work out. Oh, this one did. And it's that 91, it's that 99-1 rule. And so I'm gonna finish off with this: is in the pursuit of these ideals, in the pursuit of being a winner, in the pursuit of having a strong work ethic, a strong belief on what is and is not acceptable, in having a high bar for yourself, in choosing to become a producer and not a consumer. In the pursuit of these things, people around you who are average and live average lives and don't have what you want, number one, you definitely shouldn't be listening to them, because look at the state of their lives in terms of what they would like to be living. If the person, there are people in my life who don't chase success in that way, and there are people in my life who don't like do this and that I want to do, but I still respect the way they're living their lives, because it's the way they want to live their lives. I'm not saying live like me. I'm just saying live your life exactly the way you want to live. And so I say that to say, going back, there are people in your life who are going to be not living the life that you want to live, who are going to have opinions about the things that you're doing, opinions about the girl that you're dating, opinions about the amount of effort that you're putting in, and it's not working out, it's not working out, it's not working out. And they will constantly say that it's not going to work out, it's not going to work out, it's not going to work out. And here's the thing: they are 99% right, but 100% wrong. 99% of the time, they are correct. It isn't going to work out. And even within the business that's going to work out, for the first year, they're right. It's not working out. The second year, they're right. It's not working out. The third year, they're right. It's not working out. And then boom, now they're wrong forever. That's the thing that I want you to take home. Don't let yourself down. And in the pursuit of not letting yourself down, people who have let themselves down will tell you to stop, will tell you to ease up, will tell you to not give this much because you're going to be disappointed. And 99% of the time, they're going to be right. But if you continue, if you keep pressing, if you are persistent, if you keep learning, and you never quit, then one day they will be 100% wrong. Did you subscribe to the channel? Thank you. I've been Sage, signing out.